You know, you'd see Howard Phillips in there with his bow tie on, and he'd be playing slalom, and you wouldn't get to play slalom for like 3 years. So you'd be really excited when slalom finally came out, and you'd be like, oh man, slalom's crap. Oh, bummer.
I had a subscription to Nintendo Power fully. I had issue 1, the crazy clay version of Mario with the wrong colors being chased by Wart for Super Mario Brothers 2.
It's weird, when they first started advertising it, they had 2 different covers. Like there was like the first cover for Nintendo Power was like this claymation Mario. But they actually had another version of that cover that was just like standard Mario art. So at some point they did that, and then someone like in some boardroom somewhere went, you know what would really make this cover pop? We got like some clay and made like a clay Mario, like it was real, man. And that's been bothering me ever since that came out. Like the discrepancy between the cover they showed and the ads and stuff and what really came out. That keeps me awake at night a lot.
Issue after issue, they had something in there about Golgo 13. I don't think I ever would have known about Golgo 13 and my man Duke Togo were it not for Nintendo Power. So props to NP for that one.
Nintendo Power always really read like state-run press. You know what I mean? Like it was very much like, you know, the government owns this press outlet, and they're feeding it the propaganda, and you know, the people who report this need not bite the hand that feeds, lest they find themselves in the dungeon somewhere. The Nintendo game counselors were an interesting bunch. They were always very polite, you know, even though some, you know, dumbass 7-year-old is calling up saying, I don't understand how to make the thing go in the thing. I can't kill the giant scorpion. What do I do?
Their job was to not hang up on you unless you got abusive or whatever. So you could call up the gameplay counselors and be like, here's what I did at school today. And they'd be like, oh, that's great. You know, it was like this weird, like, it could be like your phone friends. I imagine they really wouldn't cut you off once I went to a 900 number, because then at that point you're paying. It's like some creepy precursor to phone sex or something, where it's like, so you'll be my friend. Everybody else beats me up, but you got my back, Nintendo gameplay counselor.
Fully grown adults, I guess, paid like an actual wage to be phone game counselors. And you would see on TV there were commercials that would say, kids, get your parents' permission before you call. It's $2 a minute to get tips on how to pass level 6 in Zelda.
I have to imagine that was the worst job in the world.
I imagine that everyone who worked that phone line must have like a billion crazy stories of kids calling them up with like just ridiculous trouble. Like, mommy keeps hitting daddy. Well, have you tried calling the police? I have to imagine that they must have had like the big binder, the big computer system that had like, you know, passwords for Kid Icarus must have had a section marked domestic abuse, what to do when. I was like, my uncle keeps saying he has a joystick. It's like, whatever. Like, there's all kinds of. There must have just had weird alternate cases in there or something.
I ate me the hell out of some Nintendo cereal, and I think I'm sterile because of it. Because that stuff, I'm pretty sure, was made from cardboard and ground-up hobos. Like, I don't think that was like anything that any human being should have been eating.
Commercials for a lot of that stuff, for a lot of the Nintendo games, were not so great. I think the one that sticks out in my mind is probably the one that sticks out in everyone's mind. It's like the Zelda commercial with them going, Octoroks, levers! Like, that's probably the crowning achievement for Nintendo ad design.
Oh my god, the Legend of Zelda commercial for the NES, all time one of the worst commercials ever. Total, like, they had a cool guy and a nerdy guy, and they were sitting down and playing Zelda, and then they start rapping. Oh my god, the Legend of Zelda is really rad. These creatures of Ganon are really bad. And it goes on from there, and it is terrible. It is the most excruciating 30 seconds of footage you will ever see.
I remember really liking the first like teaser commercial for Super Mario Brothers 3. Where you had people shouting, Mario, 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 and it's like he shows a bunch of different people, and then it pans out, and there's like a giant 3 on the earth. It was, you know, when I'm 8, that's totally exciting to me.
I was actually going through this journal I had when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and there's this Christmas list or whatever, and it's a letter that I've written to Santa into this journal, and it says, Dear Santa, I would like, and I guess I was a greedy kid. I just mentioned a whole bunch of games. I would like Super Mario Brothers 2, and I would like Zelda, and I would like Stinger, and I would like Contra, and I would like Joust. And at the bottom, I'm like, thank you very much, assign to carry. And then I was like, now you're playing with power. I don't know why I felt the need to tell Santa that, but Santa needed to know. Now he was playing with power. He was playing with the NES. It's so bad.
I think in most ways, Super Mario Brothers was the definition of games for most people. It's like you associated Mario Brothers and Nintendo with video games like you did, Oreos with the cookies.
The first Super Mario Brothers, I mean, that's why you bought a Nintendo, right? It's like you go into the Good Guys and they've got the big screen TV playing Super Mario Brothers.
I get it now. I get it. This is there's something to this whole Nintendo Entertainment System thing. It's not just this fad.
You've been playing arcade games, or maybe you had a 2600, but you'd never seen anything quite like this, on a home television. The look of the game, just the creativity of the different levels. When you first play through that game, every level is totally startling and mind-blowing with how unique it is and fully realized. I mean, it's a genre starter for a reason.
The way the game played was so tight. It was just so much fun just to kind of, just jump through these levels. It was all really challenging, really fun, and kind of stressful at times. It was one of those games that, like, you could easily get real frustrated, but yet at the same time, you don't want to stop playing because you're just like, oh God, I gotta get to the next castle. I gotta rescue the princess. It was probably the first one of those games I ever experienced. You play that game and it's sort of like, it's just kind of mind-blowing, how weirdly addictive it can be just to kind of hop around and stomp on these stupid little creatures and punch bricks.
I loved shooting fireballs. That was great. That was a great little mechanic. Because Mario had been such a wuss for so long that all he could do was jump. Every once in a while he'd get a hammer. Now, I mean, you get that fire flower and it's on.
I remember being really blown away by the unlimited lives trick on the first level, just jumping on the Koopa Troopa over and over, and the minus worlds and all that. That like blew our young minds because we were like, why would they put an infinite number of levels in there, but they're hidden?
Everyone kind of had their own rumors. There was a lot of stuff spreading, especially after people found the minus world.
There'd always be that one kid at school who's like telling you, oh, I made it to negative land.
I always tried to jump over the flagpole. I thought there had to be a way to do it.
This guy that I was friends with, I told him that I was able to jump over the flagpole in one of the levels, and that's how you get to the second minus world. And he actually spent apparently like 2 nights after he got off work working on this before I finally told him, nah, I was just messing with you, dude.
That game obviously had a lot to it and has some of the most memorable music of any game ever.
Da 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 da. And you got to do it like jazz, right? So yeah. I was in a Fry's recently, and they had this big grand piano in the middle of the store, a guy in a suit, and he was playing the Mario theme, and it was being piped up over the speakers throughout the entire store, and everybody just had this stupid grin on their face. I mean, the Mario theme is embedded in the American psyche at this point.
Super Mario Brothers 3 really took the whole Super Mario Brothers concept to a whole new level.
It was bigger than the original Super Mario Brothers. They had more talents that you could have. The levels were bigger. There were more secrets to it. I mean, it's the perfect game as far as a platformer goes, and it's still my personal favorite, hands down.
Super Mario Brothers 3, it really was like the perfect sequel to Super Mario Brothers. Because Super Mario 2, fun game, not really the same thing. It was kind of a different deal. And Super Mario 3, it was like, it felt like a much more natural progression from the first game.
The game was just so out there because you could still throw fireballs and stuff like that, but suddenly you had Tanuki Mario, and no one knew what the hell a Tanuki was, but it looked like a raccoon, whatever.
Kuribo's shoe is like the coolest suit or pickup ever in a game, ever.
Favorite suit? Well, I mean, who doesn't? Stupid people. Stupid people don't like Kuribo's shoe.
A Tanuki suit? Hello?
In the frog suit and all that crazy stuff that was just, it kind of added some new dimensions to the whole game that really it just made it a lot deeper and a lot more fun to play.
You get the Hammer Brothers suit at like 1 or 2 points in the game and you get hit 5 seconds later and you lose it, but it's amazing. You were a Hammer brother for about 5 seconds, and it was all worthwhile.
People are saying something other than Karibo's shoe. They're all fired. What?
I was really excited about Super Mario Brothers 3 long before most people were, in that I was excited about it even before I stood in line to see The Wizard so that I could see more of it.
Yes, I will freely admit I went to a movie theater and plopped down money and saw The Wizard.